guys, how you doing today? DriftTilTheEnd here, coming at you with another video. Today it's going to be a review on First Amendment auditors. Now, not everybody might know who these are. Pretty much they're just regular citizens with cameras that go into public places like the post office, the county jails, anything county property pretty much, and they bring their cameras in and film. They also go on public property, sidewalks, and streets, and they will film private property from the public property because the law states that you're allowed to film as far as your eye can see. So even if it's a private place, if you're on public property, then technically within the law you're allowed to film. And so I came across them pretty much because for YouTube I want to make more content, and so I want to be inside my rights when I do it. So where can I film? Well, I guess if you're on private property, the people who own it can, ban you, or should we say trespass you from being there ever again if you film. So private property pretty much is a no-go unless nobody's offended by it. You don't get a trespassing, then you can film on private property. Now, public property, you are allowed to film, and this is freedom of the press from your First Amendment right. So, pretty much that's how I was interested in, filming. I don't want to be arrested for filming in the wrong spot. But when it comes to the public, people are very sensitive about being filmed, and I have to admit, me myself, before I watched these First Amendment auditors, I was the same way where, I'd probably get aggressive and say, delete that, and you have no right. But I'm glad that I've been educated, so I don't do that and make a fool of myself. So back to the First Amendment auditors. When I first started watching it, I saw it as them trolling, because pretty much they pick a location, they go to even the police stations. It's a public area, and they'll start filming, and they go with no real, mission in mind other than to see if there will be any responses from the public or from public officials, the people who are behind the desk, police officers, post office people. And if they do get aggressive and crazy, then they fail their audit, and it brings this content that they put on YouTube. Now, from what I know, I'm not a lawyer, but as long as they don't monetize their channels, you can kind of put anybody on YouTube and you can't really be touched. So that's another thing, just beware. And the best thing to do if you don't want to be on film is not to go up to somebody with a camera, because then you become in the spotlight, and become noticed, and they can blast it wherever. So, at first I thought they were just trolling, but the more I look into it, the more I kind of agree with it. I mean, I can't agree with all the tones that people give. All auditors are different. There's probably thousands of them. And, talking to people with disrespect and stuff, I don't think I agree with that. But the fact is that, if you're in public and you want to film and everybody else around you is making you out to be a criminal when it's not a crime, it's kind of alarming. It depends. I mean, a lot of these cases are extreme, and they're kind of looking for trouble in my analysis. But the fact is that if I did want to film, I wouldn't want to be looked at as a criminal. So another thing is, they were going to hold the camera like this in a public place and film. Just right there is going to give, at least half, if not more, of the people in the room anxiety. And then they have, tripod stands, and they got, selfie sticks that are this wide, and they're holding them like this. You feel attacked, But, I've seen a lot of them, and some of the public will actually, and even the workers, will actually come and push them or push their camera down, and that's assault initially. And you understand the reasoning for it, but it's still assault by law, and if they press charges, they can get this record of assault, or they can be arrested or whatnot. Now, a lot of times the workers will call the police, and the police will come and tell the workers there's nothing they can do about it. They're inside their rights, and then that makes the auditors full force happy and justified. So that's what's going on. This is a new trending thing. It's actually pretty good. And then when the officers come, they're always trying to card the people, the auditors, people with the cameras. They say, "Oh, well, can I see your ID?" And pretty much by law, if you haven't committed a crime or been accused, like you're not a suspect, then they really can't ask you for your ID. But the police are going to push to get this identification out, and sometimes they'll end in arrest, and pretty much by law they aren't allowed to arrest them. But most of the time, they will get away without giving any identification. And on top of that, this is just ironic that these auditors are going to ask them for their name and badge number, which in the United States, most policies from the police station state that U.S. officials need to identify themselves. So you got a police officer there saying, can I get some identification? They go, no, you can't. They're like, oh, why are you filming? So let's go on the why are you filming subject now. I understand, why they don't tell them why they're filming. Sometimes they'll say, I'm getting documentation for a story, and sometimes they'll just say none of your business. Because, if you think about it, if you're outside in public doing jumping jacks, you don't want someone coming up to you saying, why are you doing jumping jacks? What, you trying to work out to get buff so you can hurt people, or for sports? It's none of their business, pretty much. So that's the same thing with filming. They just, it's none of people's business why they're filming technically. So the funny part is, these officers will ask for identification, they'll say no, but then they'll ask the officer for identification, saying, what's your name and badge number? And then the officers are going to be like, well, I'm not going to give you my name and badge number unless you give me your identification. Then they're going to say, am I being accused of a crime? They'll say no, then they'll say, no, you can't have mine, so you're not going to give me your badge number and name. It's actually your policy to do that, so you're going to go against your police policy. So it's kind of, ironic and funny. But yeah, I subscribe to a bunch of them. I always watch. There's some good cops out there, I'll tell you. From watching, there's, some really good cops. And then there's the regular standard ones, and then you just see the jerks out there. Just like any people, there's all different, you can't just say cop, you can't paint as just one type of person. So I kind of do like the audits, especially because when they do it in my hometown, I can see how the police respond and kind of get a general sense. Plus, you get names and badge numbers, so you kind of get a little rapport with your police station. So I'm liking it. At first I thought it was trolling, but now I'm seeing it's actually a little better. Also, with the public being, the public will call the police on these auditors, and then the police will tell them that it's perfectly legal. The more knowledge that comes out that it's perfectly legal is the less assaults and the less stress it is with the cameras. If I was in a public area and somebody was filming me, I'd just walk away, and even if I'm kind of upset, just walk away. Now, if they keep following you, that's when you can make a harassment, file harassment on them. That's a whole different story. But if you walk up to them and engage, it's not harassment. So just, if you don't want to be filmed, then, don't be the center of attention. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about, my insight on the First Amendment auditors. And yeah. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment below. I really want to know your guys' thoughts on First Amendment auditors. Are you for them? Are you against them? Do you see issues? Or do you see educational value, or both? So in the comments below, I really want to know about that. As always, thank you for watching my channel, and bye for now.